You want the truth? I'll start from the moment that burned itself into my brain, the one that flipped my whole damn life upside down. It wasn't the first time I had doubts about Lindsay, but this time she didn't just slip. She broadcasted her betrayal to the whole damn internet. My phone buzzed, and there it was. My girlfriend posted on Instagram. I'm not anyone's property. A woman has rights. Yeah, I know, what the hell kind of caption is that? And guess what? She posted it minutes after I caught her texting her ex, Daniel, behind my back. Minutes. And what did I do? I just smiled. Not the happy kind of smile. Not the oh everything's fine kind. It was that hollow smile you give when the knife's already in your chest and you realize she's still twisting it. Let me rewind, because this wasn't just about some dumb Instagram post. This was about the way Lindsay had been acting for weeks, hell months. First, she suddenly became busy. Busy with yoga. Busy with girls' night. Busy with late shifts at the office. Always some excuse. She used to tell me everything, where she was going, what she was eating for lunch. Suddenly, she was guarded, snappy, quick to change the subject. Then came the phone thing. You know how couples can sit on the couch and scroll TikTok together? Laugh about dumb memes? Not anymore. Lindsay kept her phone upside down, face down, like it was radioactive. Notifications popped up, and she'd rush to grab it before I could glance at the screen. One time I reached for her phone because mine was dead, and she damn near jumped out of her skin. I told myself maybe I was paranoid. Maybe she was just stressed. Maybe she was planning a surprise. Yeah, right. That night, everything came crashing down. We were sitting on the couch. She went to the bathroom but left her phone on the armrest. I swear to God, it buzzed at me like a siren call. My gut told me to look, and for once, I didn't ignore it. I picked it up. One notification, one damn line that shattered me. Daniel, I missed the way you used to sneak into my car after midnight. My stomach dropped. My hands shook. She had saved his number under a fake name, Donna. But the idiot forgot that I knew Daniel's number from years ago. Her ex. The same guy she swore was just history. The same guy she said was toxic and blocked. And what did she reply? I scrolled up, heart pounding. Lindsay, I miss it too. Things are complicated right now, but soon. Soon what? Soon you'd be back in his car? Soon you'd leave me hanging while you crawled back into his arms like nothing ever happened? I put the phone down. I didn't throw it. Didn't smash it. Didn't scream. I just sat there, staring at the blank TV screen, waiting for her to come back. She walked out, hair tied up, face glowing like she hadn't just detonated my world. She saw me sitting there, stiff, phone back in place. She smiled, that fake everything's normal smile. Hey babe, you okay? She asked, casual as hell. And that's when my phone buzzed again. I didn't even have to open hers this time. I opened mine. Instagram. Notification. Lindsay posted a new story. I clicked it. There she was, face lit by some filter. Text plastered across the screen. I'm not anyone's property. A woman has rights. The timing? Unbelievable. She had just finished whispering digital sweet nothings to her ex. And now she wanted the world to think she was some kind of independent warrior woman. Like loyalty was oppression. Like respect was slavery. I laughed. That bitter, broken laugh you let out when you finally see someone for who they are. She came back into the living room, picked up her phone, and didn't even notice the way I was watching her. She tapped her screen, swiped back into Instagram, ready to soak in the likes and comments. But when she refreshed, she froze. Her face dropped, because what she saw waiting for her changed everything. When she refreshed her page, her jaw literally dropped. I'd already logged into her Instagram from my laptop earlier that week, just because I had that gut feeling. So when she posted her little independent woman stunt, I didn't waste a second. I screenshotted her text with Daniel. Every damn word, every little, I miss you and soon. And I uploaded them right onto her story. No caption, no explanation, just the receipts. And there she was, frozen on the couch, staring at her screen like it had just grown teeth. What the F? Did you do, Ryan? She hissed, her voice low but shaking. I didn't even blink. I didn't do a damn thing, Lindsay. You did this to yourself. She jumped up, pacing like a trapped animal. Delete it right now. You're embarrassing me in front of everyone. My family, my friends. I cut her off. Oh, now you're worried about embarrassment? You weren't embarrassed texting your ex about sneaking around behind my back, were you? Her face twisted, like she couldn't believe I had the audacity to say it out loud. Then she snapped back, quick, like she always did when she was cornered. It's not what it looks like. That line. That FING line. I swear, if I had $1 for every time someone in a movie said it, I'd be rich. But hearing it in real life from the woman I married, it hit different. Not what it looks like. I shot back. It looks like you're planning on crawling back to Daniel. What else am I supposed to think? She crossed her arms, leaning on attitude like it was armor. You're controlling. You're always checking up on me, hovering, making me feel like I can't breathe. Daniel at least listens. He makes me feel free. That word free burned through me like acid. Free? What the hell did freedom have to do with loyalty? She wasn't some prisoner. She had a house, a husband, everything we built together. And suddenly I was the warden? So freedom means lying to me? Freedom means sneaking around, deleting messages, acting shady for months. My voice cracked, not from fear, anger, heartbreak, all tangled together. Her eyes narrowed, cold as ice. You don't get it, Ryan. You never got it. I'm not yours. I'm my own person. That's when I realized something. She wasn't sorry. Not even a little. No guilt, no shame, just defiance. Like she wanted me to be the villain so she could play the victim. I looked at her, really looked at her, and the woman I thought I loved wasn't there anymore. This was someone else. Someone selfish. Someone bitchy enough to burn everything we had down just to feel a thrill with a man she swore was toxic. You're unbelievable, I said, my voice low, almost calm. You throw away years for cheap words from your ex, and I'm the problem? She smirked, actually smirked and muttered. Maybe if you were enough, I wouldn't need to talk to him. That was it. That was the knife. Not the texts, not the lies, those were wounds I could maybe process. But her spitting that in my face, that told me all I needed to know. I grabbed my jacket and walked out. No screaming, no throwing stuff around, no begging her to explain, just silence. And I left her there with her phone blowing up from the notifications of people who'd seen the story. As I drove around aimlessly, my head spinning, my phone started buzzing. Calls, texts from her friends, even from her mom. Everyone wanted to know what the hell was happening. But I didn't answer. I just kept driving, one hand on the wheel, the other gripping so hard I thought the leather would tear. That's when the emotions hit, wave after wave. First anger, hot, blinding anger. I wanted to scream, wanted to smash the steering wheel, wanted to drive straight to Daniel's house and drag him out by his shirt. Then came the hurt. The image of her smiling at her phone, laughing at messages I wasn't part of. Her telling him things she hadn't told me in months. That deep ache in my chest, knowing the intimacy we used to have was gone. Traded for sneaky words with a man she swore was dead in her past. And then the humiliation. The thought of everyone seeing those screenshots. Friends, family, my coworkers, everyone knowing I'd been played for a fool. I pulled over at some gas station, just sat there in the dark car, staring at the blinking lights of the pumps. I thought about our wedding day, her vows, the way she looked me in the eyes and promised forever. And now she was out there, probably texting Daniel again, spinning the story to make me out as the crazy, controlling husband who exposed her. But you know what? For the first time in weeks, maybe months, I felt clarity. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't overreacting. I finally had the proof, and there was no going back. I didn't go home that night. I parked outside an old diner on the edge of town and sat there until the sun started coming up. I thought maybe she'd cool down. Maybe I'd cool down, but instead, My phone kept lighting up all night. Missed calls, voicemails, texts filled with caps and curses. You ruined me. Delete that story right now or I'll never forgive you. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this to me. Not once did she say sorry. Not once did she admit she screwed up. It was all about her, her image, her rights. I just sat there shaking my head, realizing I married someone who could burn me alive and still scream that she was the victim. By the time I finally drove back, it was almost noon. The house looked the same from the outside, but when I walked in, it felt like enemy territory. Lindsay was sitting at the kitchen table, phone in her hand, eyes red but not from crying, from anger. Do you have any idea what you've done? She snapped the second I closed the door. Yeah, I said, tossing my keys on the counter. I showed the truth. You humiliated me in front of everyone I know. My boss saw it. My friends saw it. My mother called me crying. Good. I shot back. Let them see the real you. Maybe they'll stop believing all your fake little empowerment speeches. Her lips curled into a sneer. You think this makes you look good? You look pathetic, Ryan. A jealous, insecure man who has to spy on his wife to feel in control. There it was again, twisting it back on me. Like I was the one who screwed up. Like I was the one crawling back to an ex. You think I wanted to check your phone? I barked. You made me suspicious with all your lies. You created this mess. Lindsay, not me. She leaned back in the chair, arms crossed, voice dripping with venom. You're just mad because you can't handle a woman who doesn't revolve her life around you. I'm not property, Ryan. I told you that from day one. That line again. Like faithfulness was the same thing as chains. Like loyalty was a prison sentence. I slammed my hand on the table, hard enough to make her flinch. Being loyal isn't about being property. It's about respect. And you have none. Not for me, not for this marriage, not for yourself. For a second, her mask cracked. I saw her jaw tighten, her eyes shift. But then she smirked again and said, Daniel treats me better than you ever did. It was like getting shot in the chest. She knew exactly what to say to gut me, and she didn't even hesitate. I stood there staring at her, waiting for some sign that she didn't mean it, that she was just trying to hurt me in the moment. But she didn't take it back. She didn't soften. She just stared right back, cold and smug. So that's it, I said, voice flat. You're admitting it. I don't have to admit anything, she snapped. You already put it all over the internet, remember? Congratulations, you won. You destroyed us. I laughed bitterly. I destroyed us? No, Lindsay. You destroyed us when you started sneaking around with your ex and treating me like I was some ball and chain. I just pulled the curtain back. Her phone buzzed again, and she snatched it up, typing fast. I leaned over, and she tilted the screen away, but I caught a glimpse anyway. Daniel, again. You're texting him right now? I shouted. She shrugged, not even ashamed. At least he listens. I felt something inside me snap. Not anger this time, not heartbreak, just finality. A line being drawn. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to fight for scraps of her attention while she handed the real thing to another man. You know what? I said quietly. We're done. She froze, phone still in her hand. What do you mean, done? I mean I'm finished, Lindsay. With you. With this marriage. With all your lies. You want Daniel? Go. Be with him. But you're not going to have me as your backup anymore. Her face twisted, like she hadn't expected me to actually call her bluff. You don't get to walk away from me, she spat. I'll ruin you. Everyone will know what a controlling psycho you are. I laughed again, shaking my head. You already ruined me. There's nothing left for you to take. I grabbed a duffel bag from the closet, started throwing clothes into it. She stood there, sputtering, threatening, calling me names. Coward, loser, weak. But the more she talked, the calmer I felt, like I was finally waking up from a nightmare. When I zipped the bag and slung it over my shoulder, she shouted after me. You'll regret this, Ryan. You'll come crawling back when no one else wants you. I stopped at the door and looked at her one last time. No, Lindsay. The only regret I have is not seeing who you really were sooner. Then I walked out, and for the first time in a long time I felt free. When I left the house that day, it felt like walking out of a burning building. Adrenaline was still in my veins, keeping me upright, making me feel strong, almost untouchable. But the thing about adrenaline is it fades, and when it does, the crash comes hard. I booked a cheap motel on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, just a bed and 4 walls that weren't poisoned by her perfume. I tossed my bag down, sat on the edge of the mattress, and for the first time since everything blew up, it hit me. Really hit me. This wasn't just a fight. This wasn't just some misunderstanding. My marriage was over. The silence in that room was suffocating. No TV on in the background. No sound of her moving around in the kitchen. No random conversation about groceries or bills. Just me, alone. I tried to sleep, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw her smirk, her words replaying on a loop. Daniel treats me better than you ever did, like a hammer smashing my chest over and over. I grabbed my phone, scrolled through our old photos, weddings, vacations, Christmas mornings. Her smile in those pictures looked so real, so warm. And now I couldn't tell if it had ever meant anything, or if she'd been faking it all along. The messages started rolling in again. My buddy Mark called 3 times before I finally picked up. Dude, what the hell's going on? He asked, voice sharp with concern. I just saw Lindsay's story. Are you serious? She was cheating? Yeah, I muttered. My throat felt like sandpaper. No way. I thought she hated Daniel. She used to call him a scumbag every time his name came up. Guess she likes scumbags after all, I said bitterly. Mark was quiet for a second, then sighed. Man, I'm sorry. You don't deserve that. You always treated her like gold. I wanted to believe that, but the humiliation still gnawed at me. Everyone who saw those screenshots, were they pitying me, laughing behind my back, whispering that I wasn't man enough to keep my wife? Later that night, my sister Emily called. She didn't bother with small talk. Ryan, tell me you're not thinking about forgiving her. I rubbed my forehead, exhausted. I don't even know what I'm thinking right now. You better not. She's trash. The second she started texting that piece of garbage again. She showed you who she is. Believe her. I knew Emily was right, but it still didn't make the pain easier. It's one thing to see the betrayal. It's another to accept that the person you built your whole damn life with just threw it all away like it was nothing. Around midnight, I got another text, from Lindsay this time. A long one. You're overreacting. Nothing actually happened with Daniel. We only talked. You exposed private messages and made me look like a whore when I'm not. I can't believe you do this to me. I don't even want him. I was just lonely because you're always cold. If you cared, you'd fight for me instead of running away. Reading that, I actually laughed out loud. Fight for her? After everything? She wanted me to be the desperate fool begging at her feet, while she played both sides and pretended she was the victim. I didn't reply. The next morning, my mom called. I almost didn't answer. I didn't want to hear the disappointment in her voice, but I did. She was calm, too calm. Ryan, honey, I heard what happened. Are you all right? No, I said honestly. There was a pause, then she said softly. Your father and I always worried about Lindsay. She was selfish, but we trusted you knew what you were doing. Now you have to decide if you're going to let her keep stealing your peace, or if you're going to save yourself. Her words stuck with me. Save yourself. I spent the rest of the day sitting on that motel bed, staring at the ceiling, letting it all settle in. The anger, the sadness, the humiliation. They were still there, but underneath them, a strange sense of clarity was forming. I couldn't control what she did. I couldn't change the fact that she chose him, that she disrespected me, that she lied through her teeth without flinching. But I could control one thing, whether I stayed chained to her or finally cut the rope. And for the first time since this all started, I knew which way I was leaning. By the 3rd day in that motel, the decision was cemented in my head. Divorce. No second chances. No working through it. No marriage counseling where she'd sit there acting like I was the problem while still texting Daniel on the side. I wasn't going to play that game. I called a lawyer. His name was Greg, a no-nonsense guy my coworker recommended after his own messy split. I told him everything, even about posting her texts on Instagram. He chuckled darkly. Messy but smart, he said. You've got evidence. That's more than most guys have when their wives blindside them. Hearing that almost made me feel like I wasn't crazy, like I wasn't just some paranoid husband losing his mind. When I left his office, my phone was buzzing again. Lindsay. Missed calls, voicemails. I finally listened to one. Her voice was different this time. Softer. Fake sweet. Ryan, please call me back. I'm sorry about what I said the other day. I didn't mean it. You're everything to me. I was just upset. Can we talk? Don't do anything rash. Rash. That's what she called me leaving her. Rash. Like walking away from her betrayal was just some emotional impulse, not a clear-headed survival move. I didn't call back. Instead, I drove past the house later that evening, just to see if her car was there. It was, but parked next to it was a silver sedan I recognized instantly. Daniel's. My stomach twisted, but instead of stopping, I just kept driving. That was my confirmation. That was the nail in the coffin. While she was leaving me voicemails begging for a second chance, she was already letting him into the house we built together. I ended up at Mark's place that night. He handed me a beer the second I walked in. You look like man. Feel like it too, I admitted. We sat on his porch, drinking in silence for a while, until I finally told him about seeing Daniel's car. His eyes went wide. She didn't waste a damn second, huh? Nope. Mark shook his head. Good thing you already talked to that lawyer. Don't look back. She's showing you who she is, plain and simple. I nodded, staring into the dark yard, feeling something shift inside me. Not just anger this time, not just heartbreak, resolve. The next morning, I went back to the house while I knew she'd be at work. I packed more of my stuff, clothes, tools, photos of me and my dad, anything that was mine. While I was digging through the closet, I found a shoebox tucked in the back. Inside were old letters and photos of her and Daniel. She kept them, lied to my face 100 times saying she threw everything out. That box told me more than her words ever could. She never let him go. I was just the filler in between. I set the box on the bed, took a picture of it, and left it right there for her to see when she got home. I didn't even take it with me. Let her keep her shrine to the guy she wanted so badly. Later that night, she finally caught up with me. She showed up at the motel, pounding on the door until I opened it. She was a mess, hair frizzy, mascara smeared. Ryan, please, she started, reaching for me. I stepped back. No, I said flatly. She froze, blinking like she couldn't process the rejection. No, that's all you've got to say. That's all there is left to say. Her face twisted into rage again. You're throwing away our marriage over some texts? I laughed in disbelief. Some texts? You mean the texts you sent to your ex while lying to my face every single day? You mean the car parked in our driveway while I was sitting in a motel room alone? Her mouth opened, then closed, like she couldn't find a good enough excuse. Finally, she spat out. You're pathetic. You can't handle a real woman. Daniel makes me feel alive. You never did. There it was. The truth, raw and ugly, spilling right out of her. I didn't yell, didn't cry. I just looked at her and said, then go live your exciting little life with him. But leave me the hell out of it. She glared at me, waiting for me to break, to beg, to show some crack in the armor. But I didn't. After a long silence, she scoffed, muttered, you'll regret this, and stormed off. I sat back down on the motel bed, listening to her car peel out of the parking lot, and for the first time since the whole thing started, I didn't feel broken. I felt lighter. She had made her choice, and so had I. The night she left the motel parking lot, I didn't move for hours. Just sat there staring at the door like she might come back again. Like maybe this time she'd say something real instead of spewing more venom. But she didn't, and I finally understood she never would. The days after were rough. I won't lie and act like I just woke up free and healed. That's not how it works. There were mornings I woke up with this crushing weight on my chest, thinking about how I used to roll over and see her there. Nights where I caught myself scrolling through old photos, wondering if any of those smiles were genuine, or if I was just a prop in her play. But there was also this strange clarity. Every time I felt weak, I'd remind myself of the box of letters, the smug way she said Daniel treated her better, the car in our driveway. Those weren't mistakes. Those were choices. And choices have consequences. Mark kept checking in. One night he dragged me out to a bar, tried to cheer me up with a couple rounds of whiskey. You know what your problem was, man? He said, half drunk, pointing at me. You put her on a pedestal. You thought she was better than you and she used that. You gave her the crown, and she spit in your face. He wasn't wrong. I had worshipped her, thinking she was some rare treasure. But treasures don't sneak around at midnight and send dirty little memories to their exes. My sister Emily called too every other day. Don't even think about answering her calls, she warned. She's gonna keep trying, Ryan. Not because she loves you, but because she hates losing. Don't give her that win. And sure enough, Lindsay did keep trying. She called from blocked numbers, left voicemails crying 1 minute, raging the next. One of them still sticks in my head. Ryan, you think you're so strong, but you're not. You'll never find someone like me again. I'm the best thing that ever happened to you, and you threw it away. Daniel doesn't even matter. It was never about him. It was about me wanting to feel alive. You should have made me feel that way, but you didn't. That's on you. That was the kind of person she really was. It wasn't about love. It wasn't about partnership. It was about her, always her. I didn't respond, not once, and that silence became my power. One evening, I drove past the house again. Her car was there. Daniel's too. I parked across the street for a few minutes, just watching. The curtains were open, lights on. They were in the living room together, laughing. She looked happy, happier than she had in months with me. And you know what? It stung. Felt like a punch to the gut. But then another thought hit me. Let him have her. Let him deal with the lies, the dramatics, the endless games. She wasn't my problem anymore. That night in the motel, I sat down with a notebook and started writing. Not to her, not to anyone else, just to myself. I wrote down every ugly thing she'd said, every betrayal, every manipulation. And then, on the other side of the page, I wrote what it taught me. She lied, I need honesty, no matter how brutal. She disrespected me, I need a partner who values me, not belittles me. She chose someone else, I need someone who chooses me. Every damn day. It was like taking back control piece by piece. The next morning, I met with Greg again, signed the papers to start the divorce. Walking out of his office, papers in hand, I felt a strange rush of relief. It wasn't final yet, but the process had begun. There was no turning back. Later that day, Lindsay finally sent me one last message. Not a call, not a voicemail, just a text. You'll regret this for the rest of your life. Don't say I didn't warn you. I stared at it for a while, then deleted it without replying. No more games. No more fuel for her fire. That night, lying on the motel bed, I realized something. The silence that once felt suffocating now felt peaceful. For the first time in months, maybe years, I wasn't walking on eggshells, wasn't second-guessing every move, wasn't wondering what secret conversation was happening behind my back. Yeah, I was broken, but I was free, and freedom, even raw and painful, tasted better than betrayal ever could. Weeks passed. The papers were filed. The silence between us turned permanent. Lindsay kept trying to poke holes in it. Random texts, fake apologies, sudden explosions of anger, but I never responded. Every time I ignored her, I took a piece of myself back. There were nights the loneliness hit hard. I'd wake up in the motel bed, cold, staring at the ceiling, replaying memories I didn't even want anymore. The good ones felt fake, the bad ones felt endless. But I kept reminding myself, better alone in an empty bed than next to someone who was already planning her next betrayal. One day, Emily dragged me out to her kids' soccer game. I didn't want to go. I felt like a ghost walking through my own life, but I went anyway. Sitting there, surrounded by families cheering, I noticed something. I wasn't bitter. Not in that moment. I laughed with my niece, ate a hot dog, shouted when my nephew scored. For a few hours, I wasn't the guy whose wife cheated. I was just Ryan, brother, uncle, man. That night, driving back to the motel, I realized something important. Lindsay hadn't destroyed me. She'd exposed herself. And while it hurt like hell, it also set me free from living in a lie. The divorce moved faster than I thought it would. She didn't fight it much. Probably too busy playing house with Daniel to care. When the papers came through final, I sat in Greg's office holding that stamped document in my hands, and it felt like closing a door I should have shut a long time ago. Walking out, I felt lighter, like I'd been carrying a backpack full of bricks and finally set it down. Of course, people still whispered. Friends, coworkers. Everyone had seen the Instagram fiasco, everyone knew. Some gave me pity looks, some cracked jokes, some asked too many damn questions. But I stopped caring. Their opinions didn't matter. What mattered was that I could finally look at myself in the mirror without feeling like a fool. One night, I scrolled back to that infamous Instagram post of hers, the one where she wrote, "I'm not anyone's property. A woman has rights." It was still up, buried under newer posts of her and Daniel smiling fake smiles in coffee shops. And I smiled. Not the broken, bitter smile from before. A real one. Because she was right. She wasn't my property. She never was. She was a free woman, free to lie, free to cheat, free to throw away what we had. And I was free too. Free from her poison. The pain didn't vanish overnight. Some scars don't. But slowly, day by day, I started to feel like myself again. I joined a gym, took long drives with no destination, spent weekends with my family instead of sitting at home waiting for her excuses. The more distance I put between us, the clearer it all became. She was never going to change. She was never going to respect me. And the best decision I ever made was walking away before she took every last piece of me. If there's one thing I learned through all this, it's that betrayal doesn't define you. It reveals them. Her cheating didn't mean I was unworthy. It meant she was untrustworthy. Her lies didn't mean I was blind. It meant she was a coward. And if you're reading this, sitting in your own hell, wondering if you're crazy for feeling suspicious, wondering if you should confront it, listen to me. Don't ignore your gut. Don't let someone gaslight you into doubting reality. If you find proof, if you see the cracks, don't beg. Don't chase. Don't try to glue back together something they already smashed with their own hands. Walk. Because the pain of leaving is nothing compared to the pain of staying with someone who disrespects you every single day. I thought losing Lindsay would break me. Turns out it saved me. And if she ever reads this, if she ever scrolls back to that night when she thought she won by posting her little Instagram declaration, minutes after whispering to Daniel about sneaking into his car, I hope she realizes something. That was the night she lost me. And once I was gone, she never got me back.